So, good evening. And today we're going to talk about something very every leader faces, that is pressure. Now, the question is, how do great leaders stay calm under pressure while everyone else is losing their cool? Okay? I call this session as calm under fire because calmness is not a gift. It's a leadership skill you can build. Right. Good evening, everyone. Let me start with a question to all of you. Have you ever faced a moment at work where everything was on fire? Like, for example, a client escalation happened, a deadline was missed, or tense meeting, and you felt your heart rest, your mind go blank, and you did not know what to say. We have all been there, right? And here is the truth. When leader loses calm, the whole team loses confidence. But the great leaders, they stay composed even in the chaos. Let me tell you a story. You know, when Satya Nadella became the CEO of Microsoft in 2014, the company was struggling. One day during a crisis meeting about a failed product launch, everyone was panicking, blaming each other, shouting and expecting, Nadella, when he will enter the meeting room, he will explode. But instead, he walked in the meeting very calmly. He looked around and said just one line. "Uh, it's okay, everyone. What is our first step forward?" Now, in that moment, the entire room shifted from panic to problem solving. And that is the power of calm leadership. And today I will show you how to build that skill. Practical tools, proven science, and simple techniques that you can use in real project situations. Now, to stay calm under pressure and to lead with confidence. And today I'm going to give you the exact tools to master that calmness, even in the highest pressure moments of your leadership journey. Okay. So let me share my screen to you. So this is the agenda of our today's session. So first we'll understand what is the hidden science behind the pressure. Why leaders why leaders lose their calm under pressure. Okay. Now let's talk about what really happens inside your brain when you're under pressure. So have you ever noticed how in a stressful moment, like during a client's escalation call or when your project deadline is missed, you suddenly feel your mind go blank. You either want to shout or you just freeze or don't know what to say. Now, this happens because your brain goes into what is called as a fight or flight mode. You heard about that? Fight or flight mode. Now, in this state, a small part of your brain, we call as amygdala, okay? It's called as the amygdala. It hijacks the brain. It takes the control. It's like your emotional alarm system. The amygdala hijacks your rational brain and the part that helps you think logically and make smart decisions. That's why in high pressure situations, instead of thinking clearly, we react emotionally. We might snap at our team, we panic in front of a client, or make a quick decision that we regret later. And here is a simple truth. When your brain is hijacked by the amygdala, okay, when your brain is hijacked by the amygdala, you cannot solve the problem effectively because logics get shut down. Okay, the logics get shut down. Let me just, okay, yeah. This is why even smart, experienced leaders sometimes lose their calm in stressful moments. Okay. Now the second is, and it's not your just brain, your body also changes during stress. See, when pressure hits, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Now, this is a stress hormone. It makes your heart beat faster. you're breathing shallow, and your muscles tense up. Now, cortisol is not bad by itself. It's designed to help you respond to danger. Imagine you're crossing the road and a car comes speeding towards you. Cortisol help you jump out of the way. But here is the problem. In our workplaces also, our brain reacts to an angry email from a client or a tight deadline, a sudden scope change happens, or difficult client call. Maybe a go live failed just hours before launch. Maybe a senior leader cornered you in a meeting about the slippage. The same way it would react to the real physical danger. And it's not just biology, it's a psychology plays also a role there. See, under stress situation, leaders fall into three common mental traps. The first one is the negativity bias. You focus only on threats. For example, you worry about what the client will say. Instead of you should be thinking about how to fix the problem, how to fix that bug or defect. That is negativity bias. Now, second is catastrophizing. You exaggerate the situation. You know, the situation, the problem is very small, but we try to catastrophizing. No, you exaggerate the situation. A small defect feels like the end of the project. And the third is called status quo bias. Now, you avoid making any decision out of fear, hoping things will just settle down. For example, I coached a PMO lead in the past who said every time the client called with an escalation, my heart raced like crazy. And I would end up over promising the things just to get them off my back. And the result is you stop thinking long term, you focus narrow, and you become reactive. So this is why leaders sometimes they show anger in the meetings, they freeze during the presentations, or overreact in front of their teams. It's not that they don't know what to do, it's their biology taking over. But here is the good news. We can hack this biology. You can train your mind and body to take back control during high pressure situations. Okay. So we can hack this biology. That's a good news. Okay, so let me close this one. Now, to understand this in more detail, I would like to share with you the psychology of the pressure. Okay, now that we have seen why the pressure affects us, let's look at the psychology behind it. Now, there is a powerful concept, called the pressure performance curve. So let me quickly show it to you on Google. Pressure performance curve. Okay, so I'll just bring that image in front of you. So if you Google, in the Google, if you put down Yerkes-Dodson law, okay, it looks like, okay, wait a second. Okay, can you see that one? So this is the Yerkes-Dodson law, or it is called as a performance pressure performance curve. Okay, so this is a very powerful concept developed by Yerkes and Dodson. It is also called as Yerkes and Dodson law. You know, it explains why some pressure can actually be good for us and why too much can break us. So the pressure performance curve, I'll try to go and explain this one. Say you on the left side, if you see on the x-axis, y-axis, we have a performance. On the x-axis, we have a pressure or a stress. Okay. So what is the low stress? You know, the low stress where you feel relaxed, but also feeling bored. You are not feeling engaged. For example, think of a project status meeting where nothing is happening and you are half asleep, there is nothing to do much. Okay, that's called low stress situation. Okay, which is you feeling bored also, you feel relaxed also. But somewhere in the middle here, this is called as a moderate stress. This is the sweet spot, what psychologists call they as a optimal zone. Here pressure sharpens your focus, you feel challenged but not overwhelmed. This is where you do your best work. This is called optimal. And on the right side, if you go here, it is called high stress. When stress crosses a certain point, you hit panic mode. Your thinking shuts down. You make mistakes, you freeze or overreact. So this curve shows us that pressure is not always bad. A little bit of pressure can actually push you to the peak performance. But too much pressure pushes you over the edge. Okay. So this is called pressure performance curve. No, so I'll go back to my mind map again. So here is the mindset shift I want you to remember. Okay, we talk about Yerkes and Dodson law. Here's a very mindset shift I want you to remember is pressure is not your enemy, is our enemy. Okay, it's a signal that you are in the growth zone. So when you feel pressure, it usually means you are doing something important. You are stepping out of your comfort zone. You are being challenged to grow. Okay, so think of a time you felt nervous before a client presentation, but you nailed that presentation. That was healthy pressure helping you to perform. So the goal is not to eliminate the pressure, but to manage the pressure in such a way that you stay in that optimal zone, focused, not frantic. Okay. So in the next section, I will show you exactly how to manage this pressure. I'm going to share with you my three-step formula to manage the pressure. Okay. So what is this formula? I called it as a 3P formula. Now, it's a very simple but very powerful formula that you can use in any high pressure situation. Okay. So what is that 3P formula? Pause, perspective, and presence. Okay. So whenever things go wrong, so let's say when your senior leader sends an angry email, when a deployment crashes, or when a client escalates the problem, this formula will help you lead with calmness and clarity instead of panic. Okay. So the first stage is called pause. What is pause means? Pause means you have to reset your state. It's very simple. The first step is very simple called pause. So let's say when your sponsor fires off an angry email or any particular project risk suddenly surfaces, your first job is not to reply immediately or run into action. It's to stop, breathe, and pause. Okay. So one of the project manager I coached, he shared this with me that Tushar, earlier I would instantly reply to any angry escalation email. Later, I realized my first reply always made the things worse. Then I started pausing for 10 seconds before responding. Half the time, my anger get cooled, and I wrote a very calmer and smarter reply. Now, this pause is what stops the emotional hijack and gives you a control back. Okay. So for that, there's a tool I would like to suggest you. That tool is box breathing. 4 4 4 four times. It's used by the Navy SEALs team. Okay. So what is that 4 4 4? Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. Now, this is used by Navy SEALs before missions. If it if it calms the soldier under fire, trust me, it can calm before a tough call with your sponsor or client. Okay. So, you know, follow these steps. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it that for 4 seconds, then exhale for 4 seconds and hold it for 4 seconds. That's it. Okay. Now the next step is called perspective. The second step, that is mean reframing the crisis situation. In the middle of chaos, ask yourself, will this matter in 6 months from now? Let's say there was an example during one of our project rollout. One of the PM project manager team panicked because an overnight batch job failed. Now everyone was panicking, shouting, blaming, and running in the circles. The project manager calmly said, guys, in the next 6 months, no one will even remember that this failed or product, but they will remember how we solved this problem. That one sentence calmed the team. Instead of focusing on the failure, they focused on fixing it. So again, there is a tool I would like to share with you. I call that tool as, you have to ask this question, will this really matter in the next 6 months? I call this tool as a what else tool. Okay. Now in this, you ask 3 questions. If such a situation happens, what else could be true? Maybe the client is not angry with you personally. They are under pressure also. The client might be also under pressure. What else could be true? Second, what is in my control right now? See, you cannot change the past, but you can decide your next move. Okay. And the third, what is one next best step? Just one step, make a call, assign the task, communicate clearly. That's it. Okay. So when you move from panic to practical steps, your brain resets and your team sees a leader who does not crumble under stress. That is the second stage I call as a perspective. Now the third stage is presence. 3P formula, presence. That means you have to model the calmness for your team. You have to model it. Okay. So because they are following you, right? Sorry, your team. Your team mirrors you. If you panic, they panic. If you speak calmly, they act steady. They will do the same. I remember a manufacturing project where a major supplier delayed the hit, and the project manager did not shout or run around. He simply lowered down his voice and said, yes, we are 2 weeks behind, and here is our 3-step recovery plan. The entire room was relaxed. Panic turned into action. Why? Because the calm leadership is contagious. Okay? So please remember, calm leadership is contagious. Presence is not about ignoring the problem. It's about showing confidence in the middle of them. Okay? So that's the 3P formula, my 3-step formula to manage the pressure. So I'm going to close this one. Now I want to give you some advanced tools for pressure-proof leadership. Okay. So what is that advanced tool? So now that you know how to pause, how to gain the perspectives and model the calmness using the 3P formula. So let's go one step deeper. I'll give you the 2 more powerful tools you can use in your real project situation, especially during the client escalation, go live issues, or those tense calls where everyone is panicking. And the first tool is, I called it as a stop model. First is the stop model. It's simple but incredibly effective when pressure hits. So what is stop mean? S means stop. So don't react instantly. Pause. Second is take a breath. A slow breath signals your body to calm down. Third is observe. You should separate the facts from feelings. what is real versus what is fear. Okay, and the fourth one is proceed. Now respond logically, not emotionally. So how can you apply this to your real life? Now, let's say in the future, if you receive an email with a very critical feedback or comment which is critical negative, then remember to use this stop model. Pause, take a breath, read the email or that comment, observe the situation and understand the context behind this, and focus only on the facts and respond logically, not emotionally. So instead of reacting, you can respond to that email saying, "Hello, Mr. Stakeholder, I understand your frustration. Here is what actually caused the problem. And here is my recovery plan to fix it in next 48 hours." See, if you have attended my 7-day project leadership program, day 2 and day 3 project situations, handling the project delays and bringing the divided team together, and also the day 5 where you having multiple projects and the resource constraint is there, and also sudden scope expansion incidents. I taught all of you to come up with the option with facts and figures and numbers, right? The same approach you have to follow here. Focus on the facts and figures and come up with the options or solutions for stakeholders to consider. This will calm down everyone because people will find you a problem solver and they will support you in the tough time also, in tough situations also. So this one stop will prevent fire from spreading. Okay, that's the first tool. The second tool I will give you called as a 90-second rule. Okay, the neuroscientist, his name is Jill Bolte Taylor. He discovered that when you feel a strong emotion, it chemically, so strong emotions like anger, fear, panic, it chemically runs through your body for about 90 seconds. Now, if you don't add more thoughts to fuel it, it naturally fades. Okay, if you don't add more thoughts, it will not work as a fuel. It will naturally fade. So here is how to use this particular tool. Step 1. Next time when there's a client is angry with you or some escalation happens, instead of defending yourself immediately, mute yourself for a moment if you can. Shut down. Just listen. Take a slow breath, second step, and count 90 seconds in your mind. That is step 3. By the time 90 seconds are over, you will notice your heart slows down and your logical brain coming back online. I remember I coached one project manager. He told me, Susha, this rule saved him. He used to interrupt the clients when they are angry during the discussion. Now he wait for 90 seconds and then speak calmly. It changes the whole energy of the call. This is how you can turn the biology in your favor. Okay. Now we talked about the tools, we talked about the techniques to stay calm under pressure, but behind all these tools is something even deeper, something more deeper is your mindset. Okay. And I'm quickly talk about that one. The way you think in a stressful moments shapes how you act, how you are. The calm leaders train their minds to focus on the powerful belief. So I would like to share with you the 3 mindset of the calm leaders. Okay. The first mindset of the calm leader is control controllables. Okay. So what is control controllables? Okay, sorry. These are not needed. Sorry. These are not. Okay. Sorry. This is not needed. So the first is called control the controllables. So in the high pressure moments, Calm leaders don't waste energy on things outside their control. Okay. They focus only on what they can influence. For example, see, you cannot control if a client send an furious email or negative email, but you can control how quickly and calmly you reply, right? Now, you cannot control the last minute scope changes happening in the project, but you can control how you reprioritize and communicate to your team. See, one of my mentee was a project manager in IT, used to panic when his client escalated the small issues to senior leadership. So instead of obsessing over what he could not change, like for example, he couldn't change the client behavior, he cannot change the client's behavior, right? He shifted focus to what he could control. Like what he can control the clear reporting, he can control the proactive updates, and he can control the quick fixes. Within weeks, the entire escalation has reduced. See, when you focus on controllables, you stop feeling helpless and start feeling empowered. Okay. So the second is that is first called controllable. The second mindset the calm leader has is they slow down to speed up. Okay. So the calm leaders know that rushing during pressure leads to mistakes. So they take a pause, they slow their mind, and then act decisively. And science also proves it. Just 90 seconds of deep breathing reduces entire stress hormones and resets your brain's rational thinking. I remember I coached a senior project manager who used to froze in the meetings whenever his sponsor questioned him sharply. See, after practicing this 90-second rule, he started, this silence. He started 90 seconds of silence to breathe, gather the facts, and then answer clearly. Now, his sponsor noticed the difference and he said, I like how steady you are now. So remember this, when you slow down first, you actually move faster and smarter. And the third mindset the calm leader needs is the positive expectancy. Calm leader also choose optimism even in crisis. They believe things can be fixed and communicate that belief to their teams. You remember Elon Musk is a perfect example. During multiple SpaceX rocket failures, his team were demoralized. But Musk stayed calm, composed, and he simply said to them, don't worry, we have path forward. That calm optimism inspired his engineers to keep innovating until they finally succeeded. So in our project world, when a deployment fails or timeline slips, team looks at a leader or a team lead, right? If you panic, they panic. But if you say, yes, this is tough, but we will fix it, you create hope, and that hope is powerful fuel in pressure moments. Okay, so these three mindsets, control the controllables, slow down to speed up, and positive expectancy are what keep leaders steady in the storm situation. Now, if you combine all these mindsets with the tools which I shared with you, okay, stop, 90 seconds, and other tools also, you will not just manage the pressure, you will transform it into leadership presence. Okay. So thank you for joining this 30-minute leader session. And I want you to go and implement these all insights. Start from today. Make your people feel good about you. And you will see your leadership influence will 10x times in the coming weeks. Okay. So with this note, I will conclude the session. And now I'm open to answer your questions.